Senator Skelos.
Mr. President, Senator Volker has a resolution at the desk, 6613. If we could have it read in its entirety, move for its immediate adoption, and open it up for co-sponsorship.
The Secretary will read.
By Senator Volker, Legislative Resolution number 6613, mourning the untimely death of journalist Tim Russert, a Buffalo native and renowned host of Meet the Press. Whereas, it is the sense of this legislative body to honor the memory of cherished citizens of the state of New York who distinguished themselves in their profession and whose talent, wit, charm, intellect, and unique personality permeated all they did. And whereas it is with great sorrow and deep regret that this legislative body records the passing of Timothy John Russert, Jr., who died on Friday, June 13, 2008, in Washington, D.C., at the age of 58. And whereas regarded as one of the best political reporters in America, Tim Russert had a reputation for hard-hitting coverage that cut through the spin and uncovered the truth. He was one of America's most influential journalists working in Washington. And whereas, as NBC's Senior Vice President and Washington Bureau Chief, Tim Russert helped shape the way today's news is reported and analyzed. He was a fixture in American homes on Sunday mornings and especially on election nights. And whereas, as managing editor and moderator of Meet the Press since 1991, he headed one of the most popular and most often quoted news programs on the air. A political analyst for Today, anchor of CNBC's The Tim Russert Show, and MSNBC contributing anchor, he brought his insight and intelligence to a global audience. And whereas Tim Russert's quick wit, warm humor, and gregarious nature shed an irreverent light on the Washington scene, even as he unraveled its most intricate complexities. And whereas a true child of Buffalo, New York, Tim Russert was born on May 7, 1950. He graduated from Canisius High School, John Carroll University, and, with honors, from Cleveland Marshall College of Law. Furthermore, he was admitted to the bar in both the state of New York and the District of Columbia. And whereas, before joining NBC, Tim Russert observed firsthand the inner workings of the executive and legislative branches of government as special counsel to United States Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan and counselor to New York State Governor Mario Cuomo. And whereas Tim Russert chose to honor his father and write a book about growing up in blue-collar Buffalo in the 1950s and 1960s, Big Russ and Me, released May 10, 2004, tells not of Washington insiders, but of his roots and the lessons taught by his father and reinforced by his neighborhood and his Jesuit teachers, who taught him not what to think, but how. Lessons he learned, lessons he passed on to his own son, Luke. And whereas Tim Russert loved his family, his faith, his country, and politics, in addition to his son Luke, he is survived by his loving wife, Maureen Orth, his father, Tim Russert, and his 3 sisters. And whereas every citizen in New York State and the nation has most certainly benefited in one way or another from the intelligence and insight that Tim Russert brought to his audience. And whereas named by Time magazine as one of the top 100 most influential people in the world for 2008, Tim Russert was the recipient of numerous professional awards and honorary college degrees. He also won an Emmy for his role in the coverage of President Ronald Reagan's funeral in 2004. And whereas this legislative body representing the people of this great empire state remembers and honors Tim Russert's purposeful life and distinguished career, and extends its sincere condolences to his family, friends, and colleagues. Now therefore be it resolved that this legislative body pause in its deliberations to mourn the untimely death of journalist Tim Russert, a Buffalo native and renowned host of Meet the Press, and be it further resolved that copies of this resolution suitably engrossed be transmitted to the family of Tim Russert.